Well, welcome to the Business Spotlight series. My name is Heather Frierson, and I'm your host of the Business Spotlight podcast. And today I have Rebecca Irey, founder of Blue Skye Financial. Excuse me. And today we're going to be talking about her journey to business ownership, challenges, the best practices, and really just share a sneak peek of what it's like to own and operate a business. So if this is your first time to the show, be sure to like and subscribe so that you get a notification every time a new show drops, just like this one. Well, Rebecca, welcome to the show. I'm so glad you are here.
I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me, Heather.
Thanks for joining us. Listen, I just want to set the stage a little bit for our audience. So if you could just share a little bit about who you are and give us a little bit of a background of Blue Skye Financial.
So I am technically a mom of 7, grandmother to 6, homeschooled all my kids, started in finance out of college and took a little break there to raise my children. Came back to it in 2017. Blue Skye Financial is a full service financial firm. So we do investments, insurances, health insurance, life insurance, financial planning. Our specialty for businesses and families is tax-free retirement. So we try to get people out of the role of taxation forever. I know the phrase is you can't avoid anything but death and taxes. Those are forever, or we could use different tools to help us get out of the one. We're going to get out of the one, not the other, probably.
Wow. So you really had two, and I like to say this a lot. You have already had 2 to 3 lives already. And so you've raised a family, you did the homeschooling, and then now you're the founding owner. You mentioned earlier that you have a co-founder of this huge firm. Tell me about that transition.
Well, I started in finance. So I was actually not raised in Texas. I was raised in South Dakota, on a generational ranch. So 3,000 acres in the just north of the Black Hills of South Dakota. I was raised in the time of Farm Aid. So financial security was not a thing for me, right? In 5th grade, I cleaned out my grandma's house so our neighbors could come and bid on our stuff. We lost the farm and we moved to town, but not like the Clampetts. There's no black gold involved. It was a real struggle. My dad was a fantastic man, but he knew crops and cattle. He didn't know finance. He didn't know financial planning. He didn't know how to protect those things. So when I came to college and I realized there were rules, there were tools that families could use to not be in that position, I kind of made it my career to protect people from losing the farm, if you will. Like we don't all have farms, but we all have something that we don't want to lose, whether it's our job or our home or planning for our children. And the way the financial system is stacked, really the deck is stacked a little bit against us. So helping people plan for that, not just for them, but for their children and grandchildren means a lot to me. I certainly wasn't born with a silver spoon, but helping people through that journey means a whole lot to me. I know what it is to lose the farm, and I know what it is to come out on the other side. So that's the reason we founded Blue Skye.
Mm. Your story, even though it's different from a lot of others, it's the same thread that I hear a lot, especially when it comes to the perspective of visionary or founder. You have the certain set of tools or skill set, but not the other. And we're always trying to connect those dots of where do I need the help? You spoke about your dad and your family. He knew cattle, but not the financial part. And there's that tug, right? And so that build a passion in you, which I think is beautiful, and where a lot of founders get their passion. It's from their own personal story. So as have journeyed on to helping people, what is a common thread that you see in people maybe reaching out to you that they need help with?
So it depends, right? If my clients, I have a certain segment of clients that are older, right? 50 plus, who are realizing that the idea that we can just throw money into our 401k and everything is going to be fine isn't necessarily the case.
Mhm.
So they're realizing that, hey, we maybe have 5, 10 years left to retirement, and we don't know if what we have is going to last. So helping those people really figure out how to make this pot of money, what we've saved, last for an indeterminate amount of time is a big deal. There's a certain safety we feel when we're working. We're putting gas in the tank, right? You're always adding more. So you really can just kind of close your eyes and go, it's going to be okay. You
Mm.
have an accountant who tells you this is how much you owe. You have a broker maybe, or a benefits person who tells you this is how much you earned. You have insurance people who say this is what the premium is. They don't need to talk to each other. So when you get closer to retirement, if you make too much or do certain things with your investments, your retirement investments, it can impact your Medicare premiums. If your
Mm.
taxes are out of control, your retirement gets depleted faster. If you have a health issue, retirement gets depleted faster. So making all of those things work together for an indeterminate amount of time, right? Maybe 5 years, hopefully 45 years.
Mhm.
That's a big deal. And it's a scary time to come into that distribution phase of retirement. So typically we'll start working with a family in that sense, where we're looking at their retirement and saying, how can we minimize taxes and make sure that there's no income gap, right? We're not going to run out. We're not, I would say I look really good in blue, not Walmart blue. I don't good in Walmart. I don't want, no, 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 pass. I don't want that. So starting there and then talking to them about their kids and grandchildren, right? Because our children, my oldest child is 34, that she'll be 34 in August, and the financial deck is different for them. So
Mm.
since the year 2000, housing costs have gone up by almost 300%. You could buy a house for about $165,000 in 2000. It's over $500,000 now for a new home. Income, on the other hand, the average salary from the year 2000 to today has gone up by 25%. Oh, hello. That doesn't, those numbers don't work, and
Yeah.
they know it. So working with young people to say, you can utilize other tools. You don't have to buy into the system that my generation did and baby boomers did. There are tools that you can utilize for financial independence. So that conversation is different.
Oh,
And then working with business owners, what do we want to provide benefits. We want to provide financial independence for those people that we rely on to make our businesses thrive. But there's a whole lot of bureaucracy and red tape and cost. And how do
mhm.
you do that and still be an owner operator if you're still in that phase where you're still operating your business, not just owning it? So providing access to tools and transition and the power to really do what you want to do with your business is probably the third leg of what we do at Blue Skye.
Wow. What struck me, of course, hopefully it did for everybody, is that housing's up 300%, income's 20 up only 25% in the last 20 plus years, but there's other tools available that we can use. Can you share a little bit of those secrets for me and the listeners?
Sure. I mean, here's the thing. We have, as a country, we've really bought into the idea of 401ks, right? A tax deferred retirement. So really what that means is you're saying to the government, please don't tax me on the seeds of my retirement, tax me on the harvest, which when you think about it in those words, doesn't actually make a whole lot of sense.
Mm.
401ks are awesome if you get a match. Free money is free money. Always take the free money. No question. If you have an employer that gives you a match, take advantage of that. But so many of us put all of our eggs into that tax deferred bracket. And if our national debt in the year 2012, $12 trillion. Our national debt today, 12 years later, 12 and a half, just over 12 years, $36 trillion. So that money is going to come from somewhere. I actually heard an interview with a politician last week, I think, and the reporter asked her, aren't you concerned about the national debt? And she said, no, I'm not concerned at all, because we haven't even started taxing retirement accounts yet.
Wow.
And I went, oh my gosh, you just said that out loud. Oh my
Wow.
goodness.
And that's what 401ks are.
That is what 401ks. So think about this. The amount of money currently sitting in 401ks and IRAs is conveniently about $40 trillion. Our national debt is $36 trillion.
Hmm. Interesting.
Odd how that matches. So what we didn't realize when we started with 401ks is that the cost of living and the power of a dollar would be so much dramatically less when we got to retirement. Like I remember, I don't know about you, Heather, I was working in 1991 and my whole goal was to make $50,000.
Yeah.
Why? Because you could rule the world with $50,000 in 1991. What could you not do with the $1,000 a week? A thousand.
I know. I remember I won't say it out loud, but I remember my first job when they offered me the management position and how much it was. And I was like, that's amazing.
I'm
It would,
rich.
yeah,
I'm
I
rich
was
now.
rich.
Yeah. And now in certain parts of the country, that same 50 in California, $50,000, you can get food stamps if you make
Mhm.
$50,000 a year. Like
Mhm. Well,
the
it's
power.
$20,000 is below the poverty line, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah. So taking account for those things and realizing that taxation has nowhere to go but up. So if
Mm.
you're planning on paying taxes in retirement, not to mention that Social Security is the tax that will be taxed forever and ever, amen,
Hmm.
your taxes are not going to go down necessarily. Your FICA taxes, your payroll taxes go down,
Hmm.
but not the income taxes that you pay. So planning for those. And look, do wealthy families spend their money or do they leverage their money?
I'm gonna say
Well,
they leverage it.
they don't spend their money. They leverage their money and spend hours. That's what they do. So those tools are available. The same tools are available to all of us. But
Hmm.
do we know about those tools or how to utilize them? Typically not. I didn't. I didn't.
Hmm.
But now I know that my all seven of my children, all six of my grandchildren will be tax-free millionaires, contractually guaranteed by the time they're retired. That is going to happen. So I can have that conversation with my children to say, yes, the financial deck is stacked against you. So let's play with a different deck.
Mm.
Let's do it differently. And tax deferred retirement, unless you're getting a match, is not the way to do it. You utilize tax-free options. And there are different ones, right? There are bond funds, there are certain life insurance products, there are different ways to access really tax-free retirement if you build it correctly. Is it
Hmm.
free? No, it's a long-term investment strategy, but I would rather have 10 years of sacrifice to know that I'm going to retire and not, look, I'm a true Texan. I wasn't born here, but nothing makes me happier than to tell the government to kick rocks when it comes to taxes, right? Pass. No, I'm done now. Thank you.
I want to be one of your kids or grandchildren.
But it's planning like for you and well, I'm not going to make any aspersions with regard to your age, but for me, if I were starting today, what it would take me to get to be a tax-free millionaire, that's a lot. That's a huge investment for me. For my 2-year-old grandson, not so much. We have all that time. The time value of money is all of a sudden working for us and not against us. For me, you know, I, yeah, I
Well,
don't have many years left.
I love it's even in your tagline, you talk about generational wealth and you really just, you know, spoke about that with your children and your grandchildren. And it's the idea of setting the next generation up for success versus what it used to be is I started from the bottom, you have to as well. You work for it the same way I work for it, which I don't believe in. I want to teach our children how to manage their money correctly, even the money I leave them.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
go ahead.
No, that is very true. And for my generation and my parents' generation, what was the answer? Well, work harder.
Right.
Get a second job, get a third job if you have to. I mean, I made it through college on Mountain Dew and Lucky Charms. Like
Mm.
I can make soup out of ketchup packets. Like I was broke. Girl was
Yeah.
broke.
Yes. Ramen
But
noodles too.
yeah. So, but that doesn't work. If your income has only gone up 25% in the last 25 years, that doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
So looking at those new strategies and working with and kids, honestly, my kids don't look at work the way I did. I thought having three jobs, I mean, I was tired, but I was like, yeah, man, this is adulting. This is cool. I'm gonna be I
Yeah.
was a child of the 80s. Come on. That's what we all wanted to be rich in the 80s. And our kids are different. They're like, no, I just want to live a nice life right now. The whole
Mm.
idea of delayed gratification until you're old and dusty, pass. They're not interested in that. at all.
Mhm.
I want to have a nice life right now.
Yeah.
Okay, well, maybe not today, but within 10 years, you can have a really nice lifestyle if you plan it right. So those are the tools that we focus on for younger families and for business owners too. Like, let's just be honest, Heather, you talk to a lot of business owners. We are the worst planners. We're the worst. We are terrible because we're the rainmakers. We're the money makers.
Mm-hmm.
Why do I need to plan for myself? I make money. This is what I do until you can't, until
Mm-hmm.
you're 60 and you're tired, right?
Yes.
So talking to business owners about planning for themselves, because there is going to come I know we love what we do, of course, and isn't it beautiful to work because you love what you do
Right.
and you can pay the bills, but time keeps going faster, and before you know it, you're just like, dang it.
Yeah.
I'm tired
Time
now.
flies by so fast.
It does. It
Fast.
does. So
Well, I love you're passionate about it. You're passionate about your business and really just how you're helping people and the reason and your why is so big. I want to talk a little bit about the structure of how you're setting this up. You talked about how businesses don't plan for their future. So how are you as a business owner with your team and your co-founder planning and structuring your business so that there's longevity?
So a lot of that has to do with what you put away, which is hard for a business owner because we want to plow everything we make back into the business. But the first thing that we need to look at is what we make, protecting what we have. And I think what many business owners don't realize is we are our first asset. It's not our
Mm-hmm.
building, it's not our education, it is us. We are the asset. So making sure that we have succession plans in place, making sure that if something happens to us, our business is good, our family is good, protecting the asset first. But then the second step really is to look at business debt, right? So, and this process is the same for a family or a business. So we look at business debt and look at how can we get out of it. Now, most people think, I just want to get out of debt. So I'm going to put all my extra income towards getting out of debt, which is fine. But when you pay your American Express card off, American Express has all your money and they're not giving it back. So you're out of debt, but also your money is gone. So
Yes.
setting up systems where you can leverage, put your money in an account that's earning decent interest, and you're able to leverage that money to pay off your debt, essentially, eventually becoming your own bank.
Mm,
That's where the power lies, where you're not, on your hands and knees begging for funds or
yeah.
filling out paperwork and providing financials again and again and again. That's what my dad had to do. And when it went bad, it went bad, and it went bad real fast. Right. So setting yourself up so that you're earning interest, you're able to leverage that money to accomplish what you want, whether you're a family or a business, that system is the same. And
Mm-hmm.
then setting up those systems so that you're creating tax-free wealth instead
Mm,
of tax-deferred wealth is huge. Tax deferred wealth is dangerous. Who wants to be at the whim and whimsy of the government, regardless of who's at the head of it, right? I am completely agnostic when it comes to politics. I think they're all wicked, quite honestly. Oh, let's just start over. I'm a start over. I'm Mulligan. I'm the Mulligan. I'm the Mulligan party.
I
Do it
love that.
again.
Do it
I
again.
mean, love them or hate them. I think everybody could agree in this last election, this
Mhm.
is the best America has to offer right now. This is it. This is the cream of the crop. Oh, dang it.
Yes.
Whether you're happy or not,
Right.
you have a what, dang near 80-year-old man I mean, I make no, I'm not happy or sad about any of it. I'm just saying, really? That's the best we got.
Mm,
Hmm, That's saying something. No, thank you. I prefer to keep my own money in my own pocket because I'm going to take care of me better than the government's going to.
yeah. That's really good. It's really good. Those are such practical tools. I think we all should know because we do come up. I think a lot of our listeners come from a generation that were raised by boomers and heard the same things: work hard, 401k, retire, and go play golf after 65, which I don't want to do. But by the way, I I like working and I do it not just for the money, but because to me there's a purpose, and I think that's the same for you. There's a purpose behind it. So to retire at 65 and live off of whatever and play golf doesn't sound exciting to me. But what you are talking about is how you have the option by doing things right, and working, if you will, becomes something that's not a have to. Am I understanding you right?
Yeah. Wouldn't it be nice to work because you love to? And now look, you know, Heather, there are gurus in the financial space that are like, just, keep all your money in envelopes and cash and pay for everything and drive an 82-year-old car until and then when you're old, like me, when I ran with the dinosaurs, and then you'll have some money to spend on golf. What are you kidding me? No,
Yeah.
I don't want to wait until I'm old as you.
No.
Thank you. I want to have all my own teeth. I want to be able to get out of bed without going, "Ugh." I don't want that. I want a nice life now.
Yeah.
Am I willing to sacrifice? If I'm 25, am I willing to sacrifice for a few years? Yeah, I am. Till I'm 70. I mean, they're talking about extending the
Yeah.
retirement age to 70, and it's going to go higher than that. Pass. No.
Yeah.
And I don't want to white knuckle my whole adult life so that I maybe possibly hopefully could have something at retirement. That's ridiculous. Who wants that? I don't want that. Our
So
kids.
what is your exit strategy? You talked about it a little bit earlier, but what's yours?
And so I never thought I would be able to say that I get to work with my kids, but
Mm,
really I will tell you that several of my children work with me in different capacities in my business, and I love that. So
mm.
there will come a time when I too, I'm like, and I'm done. I don't want to people anymore. I'm done peopling now. I'm going to be on the beach. I will not be at a golf course because I'm terrible at golf. I
Yeah.
just can't even with that. But I'm really good at margaritas and sitting on the beach. So I'm good at that. That's a skill of mine. Someday it will be that. So knowing that my kids are interested, they're interested in this. Um, I will tell you, my son, one of my sons is 22, and he's a 22-year-old red-blooded Texan male. He came to me last summer and he said, Mom, I think I'm going to start a cult. I'm like, okay, me too. This is what I said. Me too. And he said, well, my cult is going to be in the woods in Europe, and we're going to grow our own food. We're going to do everything. There's going to be a lot of women and me. I'm like,
Oh no.
that's interesting, sweetheart. That's fascinating. Would you like to know about my cult? And he said, yes. And I said, well, I think what I'd like to do is teach people your age how to break the financial system so that by the time you're 35, you can be financially independent. You don't need women to plow your crops. You can just do whatever you dang well please. How does that sound? And he said, have you told the waiter about your cult? Have you told that person over there about your cult? Because we need to tell everybody about that because that's what we all need. So
Yeah.
kids want hope. Young
They do.
people, we millennials and Gen X. My youngest is 14. She's alpha. She's like us. She's like baby Gen X. She's hilarious. I like
They
her.
started over.
The cycle begins again.
Yeah.
But they don't see a lot of hope in the current system, but we can give them that. We
Yeah.
can show them how to break this cycle, because this cycle doesn't work for us anymore. It really
No,
doesn't.
it doesn't. It really doesn't. I see it all the time for sure. And I love that you want to pass on, again, generational wealth, your business to your kids, and it become something that's a legacy for generations through your business.
That's the
How do
idea.
you even market what you do besides podcasts like this? How do you get the word out?
It's a lot of hard work, actually. We've been very blessed to have a great referral base. So think about when you like for our individual families, we have debt management programs that can get people out of debt in a half to a third of the time, including their mortgage, while they build wealth. So when you do that for one family, you want to tell people. So we're blessed to have systems that bring people in that they're excited to tell their friends and family about. So we do that. We approach business owners. Benefits are a big deal. People need them, and they don't have what they need anymore. So there's a lot of outreach. There's a lot of shaking hands and helping people to understand. And it is a paradigm shift, really. 401ks, paying your tax. We do what we do and what we've always done, and that's going to get us what we've always
Yeah.
gotten. So there's a lot of re-education that needs to go on to say, hey, but is what we've always done working for you? Is that actually working? Because many times if you actually look at it, it's not working. It's just keeping you a good little worker in a good little system, making a good little income. And that's not what I signed up for. That's not what I signed up for. And that's not what I want for my kids.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally. Do you have a team around you? Oh, you did mention that you had a couple of founders, but what's your team look like?
We have about 150 agents around the country. They're all independent. So we all subscribe to the same systems, the same philosophies. We're all blessed to work mostly remote. So I'm here just north of Austin. Hutto area is where I actually am, which
Yep.
is not as country as it used to be.
No.
When I came to Texas, it was like Hutto is
Cute
a
little town.
village. Yeah, it's a cute little town with nothing here. And now we have all the things. We have all the things in Hutto now. But most of us are remote, all the way from California to New Jersey and all the states in between. And we try to make an impact first. Financial independence starts with our families and then
Hmm.
grows to our communities and then to our states and our country. And our goal as a company is to impact 1 million families in the next 10 years. Whether it's through businesses or through individual families one at a time, like our goal as a company is to change the financial trajectory of 1 million American families in the next 10 years from dependence, right, on debt, Social Security, 401ks to financial independence. I write my own ticket. Thank you very much. I don't need your system. I can handle this on my own. And we can. If we know the tools to use, we can do that. It is within our power. We
Yeah.
just don't know.
Yeah.
It's
So
time.
150 agents, 1 million families in 10 years. What's your strategy to get there?
Outreach. We're doing a lot of business outreach. So up until this point, we've really been a business to consumer agency. So we work directly with consumers, and we still have most of our agents are in that space. But I think that small business owners are the engine that runs the world. Really, we are the power of what happens financially in our country. So our outreach this year is really to small business owners, people who have 20 or less employees, who may or may not have strategies for themselves or for their employees to be able to really look at that. And
Yeah.
if you can provide things like that to your employees, you're going to retain better employees. If they have a vision, not just for your vision for your business, but I can see my vision inside yours. I can meet my goals inside the business owner's goals as well. You attract better
Yeah.
people, you retain better people, and they stick with you. I
Yeah.
I'm super blessed to have I started my first business in 1998.
Wow.
And some of those girls are still with me. Two of my girls, they're one
You
of them.
started Blue Sky in 1998.
I just a version of Blue Sky. So I take a break
Gotcha.
to,
That's right. That's right.
raise my kids, but we had a little firm that we kind of kept going, and
Mhm.
two of those ladies are still with me, fantastic women. But
Wow.
I don't know many, like the idea of this has been my job. One of my employees, I have been her only employer her whole working life, just me.
Yeah.
So that's not something you hear very often. But if we as small business owners can paint a vision of financial independence, not just ours,
Hmm.
but theirs, we can set up systems where you don't have to have the pressure of ownership. You don't have to take all those risks, but here's your path to independence for your dreams, for your goals. They're going to
Hmm.
stick with us.
I love that. Well, I feel like this is such a good podcast and educational. I probably could ask 1,000 questions just to even learn. So we might have to get you back on the show just to have a part two about on how to. But before we do that, I want to get into some fun rapid questions and have a little fun. What do you say?
I would love that.
All right. Question number one. What do you consider is the key to success?
Consistency. I
Mm,
think I always say to people, owning a business is hard. It is
mm,
hard work. It really, and you have these moments where we're excited about what we're talking about, and you also have the moments where you're like, I did not want to talk to another person about anything. Shh.
yeah.
So it is a long obedience in the same direction. It is a long, this is my vision, this is my target. And even when I don't want to, I'm going to step towards that goal, even if the step is like half a foot today. That's okay. Because we
Yeah.
have time, and we have time to make it work for us, and maintaining that internal, even when it's hard, I'm still
Mm,
gonna. That means a lot. It's not always easy. It's not always fun, but
yeah.
the mission makes it worth it.
That's so good. What is the one piece of advice that you would give to other business owners?
I would say keeping an open mind, but not getting distracted. I think
Mhm.
as entrepreneurs, it's really easy to have shiny object syndrome to say, oh, that's cool. And I could add that and I could add that. And if I could do all of these things, I would be super successful. I used to say I have how hard can it be disease, right? Because really, as a woman, I think I should be able to have 7 children, homeschool them, have a clean house, make every meal, run my business and do all of that, still stay super fit. I'm not going to be overweight or all of that. And that should, how hard could that be? Of course
Yeah.
or not. I mean, that's hard. And
Yeah.
you get distracted by this would be a great addition and maybe it would. But
Mhm.
I had a mentor once say, before you think about expanding, master what you have.
Yeah.
And when it's really rolling, when it's going so well, you actually don't need to pay attention to it anymore, then expand. Not
Yeah.
until then. Focus and keep the main thing the main thing. Um, that's powerful.
Yeah.
And I think as entrepreneurs, we're such visionaries. We want to add we want all the things. I want to do all the things. Oh yeah, and
Mhm.
I want to do art and I want to paint and I want to, okay.
Yeah.
Yes, but not all at once, darling.
Not
Yes,
all at once.
but not all at once.
That's a hard lesson even I had to learn. Not all at once. Yeah.
Yes, it's a hard one.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, book or podcast, what are you reading or listening to right now?
Um, Books. I have a book that I'm reading right now called Relationships First by Emily Frizella. Love that. Love that. Also, just finished a book called Uncommon Accountability,
Hmm.
which I went through with some key people on my staff. And basically what it is we are the only ones that can keep ourselves accountable. That's not something we can do for someone else.
Yeah.
We do it. Integrity is the promises we keep to ourselves. So if I have integrity, I keep the promises I make to myself first,
Mhm.
whether that's getting up and working out or making a certain number of calls or creating whatever it is,
Yeah.
having integrity first and realizing that it's not the leads, it's not your boss, it's not the weather, which is like under Texas freezing. It's like 40 degrees in Texas right now. What is going on? I don't like it.
Cold.
Pass. But that uncommon accountability. And then I confess that audiobooks, I'm listening to Game of Thrones because everybody needs a break.
Listen, I started listening to audiobooks last year because there were books I wanted to read about celebrities that I knew I wasn't going to sit down and read because that's not
No.
what I read when I want to read. I read, just more learning books. But I'm like, but I have to read this book. So I just audiobook in the car.
Yeah. I picked up a book last night that I haven't read for years. It was my son, my 17-year-old son had brought it out to the counter. It was by Richard Bach. It's called One. And I haven't read it since I was in college, but I opened it up and the first inside cover says, you give everything to become the person you are today.
Mm,
Was it worth it?
mm,
And I went, oh my. So
that's powerful.
I think I might tackle that. Richard Bach is a beautiful author, just wonderful, wonderful. But I haven't read him in years, so I think I might tackle that one.
I have to look that one up for sure. All right. This is a fun one that I like to
Okay.
ask. If you had a little bit of magic dust and could put it anywhere in your company, where would you put it? Where would you sprinkle it?
Could I sprinkle it on the hips first? Not the
Same.
company necessarily, but um,
Whatever makes you work better. Hey.
you know, we're all a little more confident when we're
That's
confident.
right. That's true. It's very
Um, I think in my business, a lot of people come to our business for the money, right? I mean, the financial industry makes more millionaires than most other sectors of the economy put together.
true.
You make money in finance. It's always been that way. It's probably always going to be that way. So I see people coming in with dollar signs in their eyes and they don't really respect what the power that we have to
Mm,
change people's future. It's no joke. It's for real. Generationally, it's not really about the paycheck. The paycheck is great, but if I could cast a vision for them that it's yes, you're going to make a beautiful income and also
mhm.
you're going to touch people's lives for generations to come. I would love just a little hole in the brain, just a little rewiring to go.
Mhm.
And it's so much more than that. So much more.
Yeah, I love that rewire. Yeah. Well, before we get to the last question, just share with our audience how they can follow you or even hire you.
Absolutely. You can reach me, Blue Skye Financial. So it's BLUESKYE financial.com. Um, that way, you can reach me, Rebecca, at blueskyfinancial.com easily. So you can find out all about our services on our website. You can follow me on Instagram, at Blue Skye Financial. I'm pretty much everywhere. A business phone number, if that's allowed. Is that allowed?
Yeah.
It's
Whatever you want to do. Yeah.
there you go. 512-966-3710. You didn't ask this, but I'm going to tell you anyway, Heather.
Yes,
The
please.
story behind Blue Skye, the reason that we named it Blue Skye. So I had 7 children. My second daughter was like her mother, difficult on every level, difficult. And when she moved out, it was a little rocky between us. And I sat down with her and I said, "Sweetie, what color's the sky?" And she said blue. And I said, "What color's the sky when there's a tornado?" And she said black. And I said, "But behind the tornado, what color is it?" She said blue. I said, "No matter what weather comes, what color's the sky?" She said blue. And I said, "And that's what I am for you. No matter how much dust you kick up, no matter what happens, I am your blue sky. No matter what. I know things are hard, but I'm still there and I always will be. And that's what we are for our clients, whether they're families or businesses or anything else. We all need people to say,
Mm,
here's the path. Come, come hell or high water. Here I am. We're going to get through it together. We can make a plan to get from here to there. And that's why we are what we are. That's what we do.
I'm going to take that story and bring it to my daughter as well.
It's a big one. Daughters they're
Yeah.
my best friends now. I love them all dearly, but whew,
Yeah.
whew, they're challenging
Yes, I know.
sometimes.
All right. Final question of the day. What is most inspiring you today, Rebecca?
I think the most inspirational thing in my life right now are my interns.
Mm,
I always call my grandbabies my interns because I'm blessed enough to work at home most of the time. I travel a lot, all up and down the Midwest. So everywhere from Kansas City down to Austin, San Antonio. I travel a lot, but when I come home, and my oldest son and his wife they rent an apartment from us here at home. And so the grandbabies are forever. I'm surprised you haven't heard them yet this morning, but they will come back. And I always say, if there's noise in the background, oh, it's my interns. And sometimes they'll come in and sit on my lap. And not everybody should have their interns sitting on their lap. I'm not saying that. My interns are my grandchildren. So that's
that's right.
okay. Just be clear about boundaries.
Yeah.
But when I look at them and know that they will never have to struggle like I struggled,
Mm,
that gets me out of bed in the morning. It still does. It's not about the sale anymore. It really is about changing the financial trajectory of the family. So nobody loses the farm. Like
mm,
that is a key thread for me. I don't want anybody to lose the farm. It really it's hard. It changes the way you look at the world when everything that is solid and generational in your life is gone that fast on an auction block. No, not on my watch. No.
yeah. I love that so much. This has been just a great conversation. And I took so many notes just personally. And I really feel like you have so much to offer and we might need to talk again. So thank you for being here. And I just
Absolutely.
want to encourage everyone that's watching to save this show. If you didn't get a chance to listen and write notes, then you need to come back and write some notes. And because Rebecca really did have some great words of wisdom that's going to set us all up for success, including our children and beyond. So, also, I just want to encourage everyone, don't forget to like and subscribe so that you don't miss a notification every time a new show drops, just like this one. Thanks for everyone for joining us today. But Rebecca, thank you for being here, especially. It was such an honor and a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you so much, Heather. It was my pleasure.
We'll see you next time. Bye bye.